Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So over the years, we've covered many different examples of censorship when it comes to anime, manga, video games, and other products coming out of Japan as they're introduced to Western audiences. So you know it must be really bad when I consider today's example of censorship to be one of the worst we've ever covered. So maybe it's unsurprising, but today's example involves Sony, who has really cemented themselves as one of the biggest proponents of censorship in the related industries. And in my opinion, they have far surpassed Nintendo at this point when it comes to censorship. But we're going to be first talking about this developer named Serenity Forge. They're going to be the focus of today's video. They are a developer and producer responsible for a few dozen titles, including Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. However, the focus of today's video is their latest product called Lisa, the Definitive Edition. So basically, this is a revival of this cult classic franchise, and it's bundling two of the related titles together and offering some new content and graphic updates as well. Now, there's a couple important things to point out about this release. It came out on the 18th, that was only 2 days ago, and it's available on PC, Xbox, the Nintendo Switch, and most importantly, PlayStation 5, aka Sony. The second important thing to point out before we talk about the relevant topics for today, this game has an M for mature rating. M for mature. That'll be very important as we look through this next tweet right here, made by Serenity Forge's official Twitter account. This was posted on July 17th, the day before the Lisa Definitive Edition's release. It says, "Hi everyone, as we approach the launch of Lisa Definitive, we want to address the small changes that you may see in some versions of the game. Check out the joint note from Danglang and Serenity Forge here," with a attached article. Now, as you can see, there is 1 million views on this tweet, but only 600 likes, and it's nearly ratioed by the number of quotes, meaning a lot of people are upset about this announcement. So there is one main takeaway. This is the screenshot that everyone is pulling up from their related article. It is quite bad. So this is a platform-specific change that is coming to this game. In this case, the PlayStation. So it says, for the PlayStation version of Lisa, we've added a notice about the protagonist at the beginning of the game. Additionally, cigarettes have been renamed to cigarette candy, joy is no longer referred to as pills, and alcohol has been renamed as soda in joyful. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these are censorship changes coming to a M for mature rated game. That is absolutely insane. So this clearly reminds a lot of people of 4Kids, okay? Now, if this was a little bit before your time, I will explain what 4Kids is. They are a Western license company that was responsible for translating and dubbing a lot of anime in the early 2000s. They were kind of one of the important roles of bringing anime to the American audiences. Now, they had to do many different examples of goofy censorship to make that happen, including pretty iconic scenes like this one where they are quite literally, much like Lisa, censoring cigarettes for lollipops. Now, that comparison between the two is very valid. I just want to say that I give the slightest bit of, understanding to 4Kids. I give them the tiniest benefit of the doubt because it was a different time when they were doing this censorship. This was the early 2000s. This was like the Wild West of dubs. They were doing everything they could to try to get these products approved for American audiences. So I guess in some cases they felt the need to do these ridiculous examples of censorship in order to bring them over to American audiences. But what we're dealing with here is an entirely different beast. We're talking about a revival of a series in 2023 for a mature rated game. That is not like the 4Kids dubs. We are talking about a mature rated game from this year, and we're censoring cigarettes and drugs and references to alcohol. It's very, very strange. Now, I want to point something out. I am waiting for the moment where we're going to see Twitter trying to justify this change, because we know with fan service, they jump for joy when they see fan service being censored from games. And their arguments are always the same. They basically say that if you are mad about fan service being removed, you're a porn addict, and that if you really want to get off to your games, maybe just go watch Poontang instead. Well, what's their justification going to be for this? Are they going to say that if you're mad about references to alcohol being removed, you must be an alcoholic? Or instead of getting your cigarettes from games, maybe go out and get them in real life? Like, what is going to be their justification for this? And I'm not going to be surprised if it happens. I mean, we're all aware of the leaps and bounds that Twitter users will take to dunk on people and support censorship. But there's another thing that people have pointed out. This is a platform-specific change. Of course, meaning that the Nintendo Switch version of this game is not having this change with the cigarettes and alcohol references. However, the Sony PlayStation version is having these changes, and it reminded me of this situation from about a year ago, where the release of the Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid game was censored on the PlayStation version of the game. So I'll zoom in here to make it a little more apparent. But on the Nintendo Switch version, you have Luca here in the background, her tiggled anime biddies flopping in the breeze, as they should. But curiously, in the PlayStation version, it is censored. Like, very clearly censored, and it's hidden behind Toru's head. It's an obvious act of censorship, and again, it's just like Sony doing everything in their power to censor anything with even the slightest suggestive nature. Now, while I was looking for this screenshot, I actually came across this Reddit post from over a year ago, which is pretty funny. Apparently, Reddit didn't like my video covering that controversy at the time. So this person says, with a screenshot of my video saying, "It's not censorship. They just arranged the art to fit the cover. Piss off." Yeah, man. Like, totally. I also would enjoy bootlicking a pro-censorship company when they're clearly censoring this anime character for no reason other than to censor anime titties. Yeah, call that a Reddit moment, but nonetheless, I thought that was funny. But the whole concept of these platform-specific changes does apply in terms of the cigarette changes and the alcohol changes to PlayStation only, but that's not the only changes coming. They also are introducing changes in censorship across all of the platforms, including removing certain scenes and altering some controversial scenes. And again, I'm not a expert in this game or this franchise, so I don't know exactly what they're referring to, but clearly they are removing and censoring and altering content to fit some sort of I don't know what their point is here, especially if it's platform-wide. Like, we understand the Sony concerns. Those are outrageous, but they're very specific to Sony. But these are platform-wide, so it's kind of odd to see them censoring themselves in this game. And it's just more things that people are going to point out as, well, why are you censoring this? And clearly people aren't okay with this. And they have this general attitude. We've seen it in some of the previous screenshots of, it's not a big change. Well, you know what? It's not necessary. Whether it's the cigarette changes or these changes, who asked for this? Why are things so different with this revival in 2023? But nonetheless, a lot of people have been very critical of this whole campaign by Serenity Forge. And I also find it very dubious that these changes were announced the day before this revival was set to be released to the public. I find it very odd that they do these things last minute. It seems like it was a desperate effort. It seems like Sony or someone came in and basically said, we're not going to let you release your game on our platform unless you do X, Y, and Z. And here we are with this game, not only censoring aspects of its game across all platforms, but going the extra distance of censoring cigarettes and alcohol from their M for mature rated game. Pretty crazy stuff, and I'm not surprised that people are upset about this. And yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to say here. People aren't too thrilled about this, and I can see why. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please share all of your related thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.